literally it's just going to be me mumbling about the improvement of software development methodologies like Agile and shit.
Okay.
And I think my stuff has been okay enough that I won't like have a serious problem. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so how are you guys recording the feedback you did? When I asked Rose in class, she said that what would actually be fine is to just take screenshots.
Yeah, I did that too. So do we just paste that into the document?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, yeah. And I'm broadcasting this now, so we can put this Hangout link in too.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right, so should we just read each other's and figure it out?
Oh yeah, let's screen share though, so if we say something, then you'll see whatever part of the document we're looking at.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So did you revise anything, Emily?
Yes. Like if I didn't hit resolve on the comments, but I think
Okay.
I went through pretty much all of your feedback and fixed things that like obviously needed fixing. So like I fixed the why go-to statements make programs difficult to debug
Okay.
sentence that was just a complete and utter mess, and it's now a quarter of the length, and I'm proud of that.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. You wrote the word trace.
I wrote the word what? I'm gonna need you to repeat that because you just kind of faded out.
Sorry, what?
I'm gonna need you to repeat that because you faded out.
Oh, in that second bullet, the go-to statements make programs difficult. The word trace is in there twice.
Oh,
Like it
that's
says
a
because you can no
failure.
longer trace.
Jeez. Gotta love
Hey,
typos.
it's even shorter now.
Hey, that's something to be
Okay.
proud of.
So I guess we'll just go through them. So
Mine first then, because team question 1.
yeah, yours is on time.
That's how you know I'm her favorite. My question's the one on top. Kristen, is your internet connection okay? Because you keep like, Brett, are you hearing it too?
Yeah, it's getting like scratchy or whatever, robotic-y.
Yeah. Kristen?
Me?
Yeah, okay, there you go. Is your internet connection okay? Because you keep kind of scratching out. Was for a long time necessary and still necessary in assembly languages because of a lack of good flow control for segments. That bullet's fine, yeah?
Which one?
The last bullet under use of go-to statements in mine.
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Keeping track of all places of global variable may change is difficult, especially in larger programs. It's easy to change a value without realizing the original value is needed somewhere else.
Looks
That's
good
fine.
to me.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put punctuation on all of them?
Yeah, I guess I should probably find a consistency for that. So let's go with no punctuation because screw periods.
Okay.
All right. All right. In a large program, you run the risk of unintentionally using the same variable twice and running over data.
Oh yeah, I asked
Let me add
about
namespace pollution here.
What? So you said the same variable twice. Did you mean the same like variable name?
I mean, they're the same thing because if you use the same variable name, they're the same variable. So I think name is and then cannot protect data from using in a way that's not individually intended.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
All right, it's poor specification of program requirements. This is probably my weakest bullet, but whatever. Early on, before development of waterfall, programmers are often started using code before fully knowing what they're intended. Specifically, Liskov cites languages that were only specified by their compilers. So how do I make that more specific, I guess?
Yeah, it's just like I don't really know what you mean by like
How
the
about there
language
was
abide by them. Yeah, that makes it better.
If I can spell. All right, problems communicating with clients. And then I love that quote, so it had to make it into my answer. And like she'll love that quote too, because she made a point to say it like 6 times.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Even when early software or engineering methodologies are created, customers often change their mind about and even after development. And those methods did not have an ability to cope with change.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, let's make that a sub bullet. Actually, let's not. All right. All right. So it seems like I'm mostly making minor changes that you guys say there's a problem and I figure out the change. That seems like
Yeah,
a good
looks
way to
good.
go about this. All right. Suggested implemented solutions for go statements, better flow control. Languages now support better flow control. New languages don't even support a go-to statement. Anything I should add there? I see you make that a separate bullet.
Mhm. Yeah.
What did I just do? Where'd it go?
Where'd what go?
There we go. I lost my place in the. Let's say most, because I'm sure there's some.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure there's some weird, horrifying language that someone wrote for funsies that does terrible things still.
That's true.
For global variables, limit their scope, encapsulate data into objects that can protect it or prevent access.
Mhm.
And anything else I should add there, or?
That seems good.
No, that's good.
I mean, I see a how bullet here that you left. I don't think I'd really need to expand on that, especially because I'm hitting 2.5 pages. Like, do you get what
Wait,
I'm saying?
which one?
For limit the scope of variables as much as possible. On the 6th, you left a message on how.
Yeah.
Do you think I should expand that? Like, I mean, I know the answer. It's that things like object-oriented programming and private variables and fields, block scoping.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you could just put in parentheses like example private variables or something like that.
All right. So for improving design, starting with Dijkstra's move sort of structure program, we help define the idea of top-down design. And then from that beginning, you get methodologies like waterfall v spiral, and now agile. Programmers were discouraged from doing bad things. I think bad things is kind of defined up at the top, so I don't think there's a need.
Question or where?
What if you did, instead of like programmers were discouraged from doing bad things, like programmers were encouraged to use proper like techniques or something like that?
Yeah, programs were encouraged to use good practices. Is that better?
Yeah, something like that.
How about instead of encouraged, taught or trained to use good practices?
Yeah.
And phase.
Wait,
What?
before I said you should add a really.
What?
What are you trying to say? You just say like from beginnings, more and more methodologies, and then nothing after that.
Yeah, you see dash dash waterfall, then V spiral. Like that is methodology not the right word? Kristen?
Like there's no verb. Like I don't know what you're trying to say.
Oh, like it should be like more and more methodologies were developed or created.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, waterfall, then V spiral act. Now agile is most often used. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so programmers were trained to use good practices and phase out poor ones, increase use of principles like modularity, encapsulation, abstract data types, code reuse. Object-oriented and functional programming.
Those two like includes
Repeat that, sorry.
the object-oriented and functional programming are those like the encapsulation and abstract data types and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I guess that's extra.
I would just put it like in that sentence, like with the comma stuff.
I'm actually just gonna remove it because I think it just repeats what I already said.
Okay.
All right, for client communication, to move towards prototyping and receiving feedback from the client, enhanced with Agile software development method, which encouraged feedback from clients at every stage. Yeah, effects, and this is, I point out that this is an opinion. Someone may disagree with me because here's the question I'm answering is which had the most far-reaching impact?
Okay.
And so I have two answers, which is, sorry, where is it? Which is the effects on programming languages, which is things like adding features. And then the other part would be developing software engineering, which I'll talk a bunch about Agile. Because I started to talk about it in implemented solutions, so I think that's a good kind of transfer. All right, so most programming languages aren't static. They add features over time.
Okay.
And then a bunch of different feature changes make modern languages more efficient and readable, better flow control, iterators, classes, object-oriented programming, high-quality documentation, communities like Stack Overflow that can help you when you're fucking up. Groups developing software have generated style and documentation guides to ensure code readability and documentation. So like I cited their Google style guide for C++.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I might just add something quickly about no, actually it's covered by my last bullet, so never mind. And then so yeah, all I have to do, and you saw no problem in that, right?
No, it looks good to me.
Brett, any thoughts?
On that last part, C, I thought it was good.
Yeah. And then all I'm going to do is talk a little bit about Agile. I feel competent to talk about Agile. So yeah. I'll do that tonight.
Okay.
I
so
think
should we move on to Brett?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Brett? I'm sorry.
When you do the last part, I think you're obviously really good at the content part. So just like
have someone check the grammar over.
Yeah.
Because apparently I can't speak
English. Done by 8.
Wait, what?
Like everything has to be into a document and sent to her by 8 o'clock tonight.
Oh, okay.
Between the 3 of us or the whole class?
The whole class.
Wait, what the fuck? How is that working?
There's a Google Doc in our drive.
That's with okay. So do you know what needs to be put in there? Like our initial
answer does, and then this Hangout link and any like comments we put, and like your new answer.
Okay. So we can just basically like copy and paste this doc into it?
Like your individual part, yeah.
No, we can't because we have to make sure that everything's in the right place. And we also have to put in our initial answers, which hopefully, Brett, you saved at some point, and if not, you can go to the document. All right.
So before we move on to Kristen's, after this is done and like individually, like I'm like, okay, I think mine's ready to go. I should post it post my initial answer, any links, and my revised answer into the Google Doc with everyone in the appropriate spot.
If you look at the doc, they're separated into different parts. The first part is everybody's initial answer. So there's a section already with your name. So you'll put it there, and then you'll put your polished one in a separate spot, and then the Hangout link and stuff in a separate spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just have to look at the document.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check it out.
All right. So on to Kristen. So let's go a paragraph at a time, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it out, or are you going to read it out?
Am I still like spotty?
You've improved. If you get spotty, I'll start reading instead, okay?
Okay. Andy Hunt and Dave Thomas in their book, The Pragmatic Programmer, state that programmers must keep their code dry, where dry stands for don't repeat yourself. Their exact definition says every piece of knowledge must have a single, unambiguous, authoritative representation within a system. Knowledge can mean data, logic, functionality, or an algorithm. It is inherent in a programmer's nature to reuse code when possible. However, this benefit can also lead to bad coding habits like repeating the same code in multiple places.
Kind of dry, but fine. I think that's going to be kind of the thing of it. Dry in the sake of not, like, do you get what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know how I would really make it more exciting.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Maybe instead of having the sentence knowledge can mean data, logic, or functionality, put in brackets in the quote. Like
the only
this?
thing is that came from like a different source though.
That's a good point. I can see why you wouldn't change that then. All right, move on then.
Any code repeated in 2 or more places becomes difficult to maintain. Once a programmer makes a single change, they must perform this change several times throughout their code, leading to errors and inconsistencies. Dry code, on the other hand, can be easily, as any updates to the code only have to occur in one place. Additionally, one can easily repurpose dry code as all the functionality is centralized in one spot with a singular functionality. It also becomes easier to unit test the code since dry code will only require testing for each functionality once.
Why don't replace all the functionality? Just do it, because otherwise you're talking about functionality twice and it's kind of redundant.
Yeah. Sounds good. Anything else for that one?
Brett, any thoughts?
I think it sounds pretty good.
Dry code, on the other hand, could be easily once a programmer should perform this change several times throughout their code. Instead of they must perform it, they may forget to make this change. Because I think that's kind of, like, do you get what I'm saying? Because I think that the problem is them forgetting it, not that they have to do it. Like,
yeah. So once a programmer makes a single change, they may forget to change
it elsewhere in the code.
Yeah. Okay, so once a programmer makes a single change, they may forget to change it elsewhere in the code, leading to errors and inconsistencies. That makes sense.
Yeah. So now you're focusing on the problem as opposed to what they should be doing, which I think is okay. All right, and so I think that paragraph is good now.
Okay. There are many ways to follow the dry principle. At a high level, before even programming, one should modularize their code and logic into the smallest possible reusable units they can, so that when they program, they can simply use that unit by calling it where they want. Another general way to keep code dry is to use object-oriented programming, which allows organizing common items together in a way that prevents repetition. Additionally, design patterns almost always help keep code dry, as they provide general strategies to solve problems efficiently.
I think design patterns is kind of the weakest point in that paragraph. You might consider removing it, but if you're referring to it later, then no.
I'm not. So I was also thinking that. I wasn't even sure if I should put it in the first place. So I'll just get rid of it. Is that good besides that?
Yeah.
All right. Ruby on Rails also provides some specific ways to keep your app code dry. First, it has metaprogramming, which can help create concise code on the fly to avoid repetitions. Furthermore, if using MVC, one can dry out their views with partials, which are reusable chunks of code for views that have similar content. In models, one can use validation, so they do not have to repeat the same checks each time they create or update an object. In controllers, programmers can use controller filters to set up or check certain constraints before running a controller action. These are only a few examples of how to keep code dry, but with practice, programmers can become adept at avoiding unneeded repetitions.
Just as a personal thing, instead of saying Ruby on Rails at the beginning, maybe Ruby and the Rails framework both provide specific ways. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Because you're talking about both Ruby and the Rails framework.
Yeah, that makes sense. Both provide.
So kind of try and separate, like, Ruby and Rails are separate things. Like, Rails framework is something for Ruby, but like you're kind of conflating the two a little bit.
I'm not
Like,
gonna lie.
this is really a nitpick. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Do you mean like in the paragraph itself or just in that first sentence?
First, it has meta programming, and so that's 100% Ruby. Then this sentence here, if you're looking at what I'm highlighting, furthermore, if using model view controller, one can drive. That's entirely about Rails. The rest of this paragraph is about Rails. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Okay. So if I say first Ruby has metaprogramming, and then furthermore, if using MVC and Rails, that's better.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right. So, ready for the next paragraph?
Is the rest of that good? Your project must follow the dry principle so that it can be easily maintained and understood. Dry code will not only help create beautiful code, but it will allow that code to persist and be added onto with little struggle.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a good conclusion.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Okay. So are we ready for the next one?
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Prefer composition and delegation over inheritance. Another important phrase in software engineering is prefer composition and delegation over inheritance, which underlies many design patterns. The Gang of Four, authors of Design Patterns, Elements of Reusable Object-Oriented Software, coined this as one of the overarching principles for good object-oriented designs.
Fine.
Yep.
Composition means an object has as its component an object of a more basic type. This allows the object to delegate some behaviors to the more basic object. Delegation means an object receiving a request passes it to another object that it privately owns, and that other object does the actual work. Delegation can occur with composition or just by passing an object as a parameter to a method in a class. Inheritance, on the other hand, means a class has the same behavior as another class, but extends its behavior for a specific need.
I like it.
Very technical. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble focusing, so it's a little technical and it kind of went over my head. So just give me a minute to reread it myself.
Yeah, definitely.
This was not- I kind of don't like that you define three things before you kind of get to the content of this paragraph, but I don't know any way to do it better.
What do you mean by the content?
So you say you define composition, then you use the word delegate to describe that, and then you describe the word delegation. So that
I see what you're saying.
kind of like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So maybe define delegation, or like
First.
this leads us to delegation, which is when, and then you get into composition at the end of the paragraph.
Okay, wait. So should I put inheritance first? Because everybody knows what it is.
Yeah. Start with things people know, and then move into things that are less known.
Okay, so we'll start with inheritance. Oh God, what did I do?
It's okay.
And then
Thank you for understanding that feedback, because it took me a moment to figure out that feedback.
I don't know
and figure out why when you read that sentence out to me, I was like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, hold on. I don't know where I just went. I'm so confused. Oh, here I am. Okay. Wait, how do I indent this correctly? Why isn't it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll say inheritance first. Then do I say delegation?
Well,
Hello?
let me just delete on the other hand, because that doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. Delegation. I think delegation would make sense next. Okay, so inheritance means a class has the same behavior as another class, but extends its behavior for a specific need. Delegation means an object receiving a request passes it to another object that it privately owns, and that object does the actual work.
So maybe
Composition.
as the introductory sentence for this paragraph, 3 important concepts in object-oriented design are inheritance, delegation, and composition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that, I think that works a lot better.
Yeah,
Like,
that
I'm
makes
just
sense.
saying, like, most of what you're writing is like high enough quality that it's like something I would expect to see in a textbook. Just FYI. Like, we're pointing out things that are like just improving readability. Like, you
Yeah,
know what
no,
I'm saying?
definitely. Yeah,
Like-
of course. Okay,
Like,
three
the
important
content is
concepts.
very high quality.
Thank you. 3 important concepts in object-oriented design are inheritance, composition, and delegation. Well, I should probably switch the order if I'm going to talk about them. That
Yeah. So if you want to write down that what we changed here, it's that we changed the order of discussion of principles of object-oriented design to focus on to move from
inheritance. Here's another.
unfamiliar from the familiar to the unfamiliar.
Wait, what?
Like, since you have to write down like what feedback here, like this is probably a good point to write down on your feedback part that we revised the ordering of discussion of object-oriented design to focus on moving from the familiar to the unfamiliar. And that's a good principle to follow in general for people reading.
Hello.
Okay, and now the last change I would think about making here is your last sentence now. Kristen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry. Because you see how you're talking about delegation can occur without composition or by just passing it in?
Yeah.
I would just say can occur with or without composition.
Okay. And then should that be the lead-in to talking about composition? Like
Yeah.
put it here.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that actually works really well.
Yeah.
All right, and now the only problem is the next thing you talk about inheritance, and now it's at the top of your last paragraphs.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I can add a concluding sentence to this paragraph and say,
how about while inheritance is one of the simplest to understand, blank, or no, I guess it's not the simplest to understand because well, inheritance is probably the most commonly known of these concepts.
okay, yeah.
Like I don't know about you, but the only one I'd heard about before this class really was inheritance.
Yeah, me too.
Think about how heavily we focused on that in 140.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so can I read these 2 paragraphs together now?
Yes.
All right. 3 important concepts in object-oriented design are inheritance, delegation, and composition. Inheritance means a class has the same behavior as another class, but extends its behavior for a specific need. Delegation means an object receiving a request passes it to another object that it privately owns, and that other object does the actual work. Delegation can occur with or without composition. Composition means an object has as its component an object of a more basic type. This allows the object to delegate some behaviors to the more basic type, or more basic object. While inheritance is the most commonly known of these concepts, programmers often use inheritance when it is not actually needed. Inheritance creates a very strong coupling between classes. When used incorrectly, it can create unneeded complexity. If a subclass only needs to inherit some, but not all of the superclass's operations or data, it is likely that it should not be a subclass at all. Instead, this inheritance bloats the subclass and creates a confusing relationship between these 2 classes. For example, one might have a rectangle and a square class, where the square inherits from the rectangle. However, if the rectangle class has a function called make_width_double_height, square would have to override that function. In that case, square should not be a subclass at all.
Yeah. That's perfect. And I
Okay.
love the example.
Thank you. I figured because you were like confused on it when you were reading my bullets, I should really have a sound example in there. Okay, so then, thus, rather than using inheritance, one should use composition and delegation. With composition and delegation, a programmer only has to use part of the delegated class. Then they can control which parts of the delegated class they want to use and which parts they want to ignore. With the example above, Square can delegate methods like getArea or getPerimeter to the rectangle class, but avoid inheriting makeWidth double height.
Yes. That
Yeah,
and that's a really good explanation of composition and delegation.
Okay. And then to perform composition and delegation, one simply has to create a field in the subclass that refers to an instance of the superclass. Then they must change the methods the subclass wants to use from the superclass to use the delegate field instead. Next, they can remove that inheritance binding and treat the two classes as separate entities. Following composition and delegation helps rid people's code of unnecessary and confusing relationships that can lead to difficult refactoring in the future.
Is this last paragraph specific to Ruby?
I don't think so. It's
Okay.
specific to any language that uses object-oriented design.
How about that add in a language that supports it?
Okay. Better?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that one good?
Otherwise, yeah, because the only reason I said that was the first question that popped into my head.
No, I'm glad you said it. Okay. So the last one is probably my weakest one because I didn't understand it too well, but let's see if it makes sense. All right. The Gang of Four coined the phrase program to an interface, not to an implementation, as the second overarching principle for good object-oriented design. An interface is a means of classifying common behaviors that are exhibited by potentially non-related classes. Classes that use an interface do not need to derive from the same base class. Rather, they just need to satisfy the interface's contract, which specifies what the interface does and how to access it.
So this is sounds a lot like what we talked about with mixins in Ruby, where you can use a mixin so long as you satisfy its contract or something.
Yeah.
Like, remember we talked about that when we were doing
yeah, it was like one of the first chapters.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah, no, it does sound like that.
You could actually probably add that similar to one example in Ruby that implements this is mixins, or if you want to.
I'll look more into it just to make sure, but I'll definitely consider adding that. Because I think they might be a different thing in Ruby.
Well, it definitely needs some way of explaining kind of what a contract means here. Because I think basically that means is that, how do I word this? Brett, do you have any suggestions?
For using something other than contract?
Also, I think a similar idea here is duck typing. Like, so long as it acts the way you would expect, you could use it. You could only use something if it'll act the way you expect. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, another wording here.
Yes, I kind of understand what you're saying, but I don't really know how to put it into words.
That sound formal enough, yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying to describe a contract with like duct taping or something?
By comparing it to duck typing.
Okay.
Like, similar to using duck typing.
So duck typing is just like if it quacks, like, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, if it quacks like a duck, you can use it like a duck.
Yeah. Yeah, I do see what you're saying.
Because I think this will get a lot clearer if you have an explanation of what a contract means. Because a contract is kind of jargon. So maybe just have it on your mind and come back to it in a little bit and we'll move forward. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. Using interfaces allows programmers to focus on what function can be implemented with quicksort or merge sort, but the programmer should not care which as long as the interface to the calling code does not change. Using interfaces makes code more flexible and maintainable, as one can change implementation details as much as they want as long as they do not change their interface.
That's great. Perfect.
Kristen,
Yeah.
about like the contract,
Uh-huh.
I think if you just used a different word, it would be like more clear, like Emily's saying, like the interface is like functionality or something like that.
It's not necessarily like the word people use for interfaces is contract. That's why I'm not really sure what
Oh,
else to say.
that's how they say it. Like they use contract, then I think it's fine.
Yeah, but it is kind of confusing if you don't know that. So, something online says a contract is an implicit agreement you make between users and the implementers of the class or interface.
So, did they give an
say that?
example?
If you do like contract and then in between two commas, like what the contract is.
Yeah, but like, does the definition even really
How
help?
about, I think actually a good definition of contract is the specifics of how data is accessed. Like,
I mean, that's pretty
something-
much like that's what I said right after it. I said which specifies what it does and how to access it.
and instead of how to access the data.
Oh, I think
That actually makes it clear.
Yeah, that last part of it explains what the contract is.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think actually probably the worst part was that and the data makes that a little clearer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's go to the third paragraph. The dependency injection principle, DIP, is a clear example of programming to an interface instead of an implementation. DIP states that if two classes depend on each other, but their implementations change, then it would be better for them to both depend on a separate abstract interface that is injected between them. This interface helps to vary which implementation is used at runtime. Now, one can just pass in a dependency whose value might not be known until runtime, as long as it uses the correct interface rather than hard coding dependencies in source code.
Their implementation change is kind of passive. How about like something about the programmer needs to change their implementations for some reason. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, no. So,
but a change in code requires
by,
that their implementations change.
That's like not what it is though. It's like if dependency injection is like if the implementation change, meaning like if we use the next paragraph will kind of explain what I'm talking about, and then we could go back to that.
Okay.
So, for example, in the Rotten Potatoes app, a programmer may want to implement an email list using MailerMonkey service to send out discounts and emails. Since there's only one service, the programmer might hard code this dependency into an email class. If this proves successful, they might also want to send emails through social media apps like Amico. However, the email class depends directly on MailerMonkey, showing that they program directly to an implementation. Thus, one should inject an interface between the email class and the different implementations of so that has all the functions to send an email. At runtime, this type of email service gets passed into the email class as long as it satisfies the interface. Thus, programming to an interface instead of an implementation allows a programmer to be
okay. Yeah. I was just confused because I didn't understand it until I read that. Because that's
what I figured. Does this make
but
sense?
Yeah, there's no real way to move the example first.
I know.
Actually, you know what? How about how about moving the first kind of half of this? Consider a problem, and then give the first half of the example, and then just define dependency injection principle, and then give the solution of that. So separate it. I'm going to put a separate it here. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So consider a problem. And then define dependency injection, and then give the solution. That
makes
a better way to
sense. Yeah.
Woohoo! I feel smart. And the Rotten Potatoes application, a programmer wants to implement an email list using MailerMonkey service to send a discounted email since there's only one service. The programmer might hardcode this dependency in the email class. If this proves successful, the programmer also, how about instead of if this proves successful, instead of the but what if the programmer wants to send emails through social also wants to
Okay.
get rid of the programmer might. However, since the email class depends on, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Since the original email class. This is just changes that we have to make because it's first, so we lose some context.
Yeah. Oh, wait. So here, should I say, since the original depends directly, it is clear the programmer program?
How about, since it depended on MailerMonkey, making this change won't be trivial.
I think I should mention the implementation, though, that they program directly to the implementation, since that's like.
Yeah. Depends directly on the implementation of MailerMonkey.
Oh, yeah. Good. Can't spell.
It's okay, no one can spell. You spell better than I do.
And then, so instead of saying this is an example.
The dependency injection principle is a way to prevent problems like this.
Okay, yeah.
Problems like our example or something. Thus, to solve our problem, one should inject to solve the problem in the next paragraph. Thus, to solve the problem, one should inject an interface between the email class. Blah blah blah.
I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and this is like, again, now we're at textbook quality. So you're great, Kristen.
You're a really good editor.
I have a lot of practice because my writing is shit, so I learned to edit. And then also because I end up editing other people's stuff a lot because they see the quality of my writing and then I get asked to edit.
You're really
also,
good.
I do a lot of readings, which helps.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I think I'm good.
Just, if this helps in the future, things to keep in mind is move from the simplest to the most complicated because it makes your reader more complicated, and and before you explain something, explain why it's important because otherwise people will snore through what they're reading.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, onwards to Brett.
Yep.
We're making good time, I feel like.
I agree.
And I feel like my stuff was improved. You feel like your stuff was improved. We're doing good. Also,
yeah, I feel like so much. Thank you.
All right, onwards to Brett. Do you want to read? Oh, okay. This is your initial answer. All right, so let's keep scrolling.
Yeah, how far
Be
down?
page 15, the bottom of page 15.
Oh my god, this
Oh,
thing
that's
got long.
Okay, I see it.
Here we go.
So in class on, I guess, Thursday, I kind of showed Rose how I answered A and B, and she liked that it was like bullet points. So I decided to keep that. So
That's fine.
Yours did actually really well as prose, though. So don't worry about that, Kristen.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay.
Yours works better with prose than mine and Brett's.
Yeah.
All right, so rational
with,
extroverts.
With all of these like personality types, like the first bullets I like copied from the slides.
Yeah.
And then the last bullet is like to get the most out of rational extroverts. So should I read through it?
Yeah, so what were your questions? Can I just read through your question again real fast because I don't remember them? Because unlike Kristen's, where it was just kind of explain these three concepts, yours is actual questions. So one or more rational lectures, rational introverts, intuitive extroverts, and intuitive introverts. That's a mouthful. So if you were their lead, how would you leverage the work styles to gain the most of each team member and encourage them to be aware and minimize their shortcomings? What would you do to promote harmonious interactions within the team? Given an exemplar from each of the above work styles, how would you effectively communicate and interact with each individual if they were your supervisor? All right, and then talk about a bunch of failures. So how do you prevent software failures, which is basically section 8.1 of A Gift of Fire. I really hope you cited that, Brett. I will be very disappointed in you if you didn't.
I didn't. I didn't really look at a lot of sources, but I need to add the ones I did look at the bottom. Okay, but for part A, how to get the most out of them. So I'm gonna skip the first few bullets. But to get the most out of rational extroverts, I also changed.
Can I make a suggestion actually?
Yeah.
So that you don't have to keep referring back to the question. Just put like a first bullet here, which is just to deal with, and then tab in each of those. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Well, do you see this one that I highlighted to get the most out of rational extroverts?
Okay, so why don't we make that bold instead of caps then?
Okay.
So, and not make it caps because caps are terrible.
Okay, so I can rewrite them.
There's a thing that should be just to downcase it. Give me a second just to remember how to do that in Google Drive. At least there is in Word. Maybe there isn't in bulleted list. All right. No, just retype it. I'll type the other one.
Okay.
And then indent one more each time. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest the indent too. You might want to just also like the first three bullets, maybe like make a bullet that says like what they're like, and then the next one is like to get the most out of them.
So,
Like what? Like traits or something, I guess, or
Yeah, just because it's like the formatting just kind of looks ugly.
okay. What would you say? Like work style traits or what?
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, right now I think we're focusing on formatting just to and also everything kind of needs to be the same font size because otherwise it's inconsistent with the rest of the document.
Yeah, I think
Is
she
it
has
different
Arial
sizes?
size as well.
Oh, why is it different?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I think it's because I copied it from the slides, maybe? I don't know.
Jesus, do you think anyone else's answers are going to be this long?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh man. Because, like, just realize that our document alone is 26 pages.
Yeah, did you look at it? It's like already 50 pages in the other one.
Oh my god. That poor
Yeah.
printer.
I know. It's 61 right now. That's crazy.
How are we gonna, like, we have to make a table of contents. How the fuck are we going to do that?
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. And we have to do that all by 8 o'clock.
Oh my god.
No, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's actually an issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
so once we get through Brett's thing, can we take a half-hour break where I'll write the rest of my thing on Agile, and then we'll go and try and save the rest of the class, I guess?
Yeah, definitely.
So let's get through Brett's then. I think we fixed the formatting mostly. I lost where we are. Okay, works out.
Okay, I feel like that looks a lot cleaner now.
Oh, how do I get this back one? Kristen, how do
Tab.
you? Okay, to move it. No, to move it. So you see under work cell, how do I get it to look like what rational introverts look like right now?
Who are we under right now? Extroverts? This one?
Yeah. Yeah. So you see our rational introverts?
Oh.
I want to make that one. Oh, shift tab.
Yeah. Shift tab, yeah. It's not working though.
Interesting.
Let me do something. What the hell? I don't know what I did to make it work, but
I mean, I'll just retype it and that'll fix it. Ah, no.
yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
All right, let's put a new line there and no.
Oh, you do the.
There we go.
the
Ha
space.
ha ha.
Yeah.
I did it. I'm proud of that. We're literally just fighting Google Docs right now. There you go.
Perfect. Okay,
And
Brett.
this looks actually beautiful and readable now, so that works.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So great
Alright.
job, team. We fixed formatting.
Yeah. All right. So,
Now we can go through content.
okay, I'll start reading. Okay. Rational extroverts, work style, tell their thoughts and base decisions on facts and options.
And so, yeah, we'll just fix the capitalization on that. And now it's the wrong size, so let's fix that too.
And I guess the second bullet shouldn't have work style.
Yeah.
Uh,
Actually, can we make this all size 12 because we determined that's what the document is? And actually, let's make the entire document size 12. All right, Arial size 12.
Yeah.
Yep, sounds good.
Should work. Haha. Oh fuck.
Oh,
What did I just do?
everything's gone.
Oh no. That's when we spam Control Z. Fuck. Okay. Okay, it's back, I think. It's just not loading because my computer's all right, good. So let's try that one more time.
Wait, it's not back on mine yet.
It just
It takes a moment to load. All right, now it's back and it's the right size.
That's so funny.
Is it the right size? Because some of these are size. What size should it be? 11 or 12?
12.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, so let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what did I just do? Okay. All right. You guys good?
Yeah.
All right, so tell the thoughts. Go.
Yeah, good at making sound decisions quickly, makes decisions based on efficiency, judgment based on results.
Make
Yep.
it consistent. So right now you have makes a decision based on efficiency and then judgment based on the result.
So say like makes judgment based on
Or
results.
or delete the other one.
Yeah.
So parallelism is good. Remember, flashback to CS301.
Okay.
And then so now you have to just downcase the J.
Okay.
That fixed that. All right. So all right, to get the most out of them.
To get the most out of rational extroverts, as a lead, you want to address individuals that are rational extroverts by having them work on decisions that must be made that are based on efficiency. I guess that's kind of wordy.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me just read the rest of it and we go back to that. Use their ability to make these decisions to work on projects that have short deadlines. You're also going to want to give them facts and figures as they start a project and be receptive of their questions as they develop the solution. So that first sentence is kind of bad.
And so you are going to want to. Instead of just doing that, just do give.
Okay.
There you go. So like that, I can undo that if you want, but
No, that's good.
as a lead, you want to address individuals that are. Okay, so that's extraneous because you have them being as the lead. Like you see how that's kind of pointless. So
Yeah, just say as the lead,
just have
work.
them.
Have them work.
Yeah. Work on decisions that must be made that are based on efficiency. Okay, so that doesn't make sense.
You could just say decisions
Have
that are
them work. Have them make decision. Have efficiency. Have them make the efficient. Have them make.
Can't you just get rid of the that must be made?
decision.
Or can you say that are based on efficiency? Like have them work on decisions that are based on efficiency?
Yeah.
How about place them on projects that require
Decisions based on efficiency.
yes, but there's still probably a better word of that, but that's an improvement. So let's start from there. Have them work on projects that require efficient decisions. There you go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Have them
And
work-
you don't have to do this in like, you can make these each separate bullets.
Yeah. So actually, decisions. There you go. That looks really good.
Oh, you think I should break it up like that too? Okay.
Yeah, I think it makes a little more sense.
There you go.
Okay. So should I get rid of periods then? I guess I can do that after, but
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
okay.
As the lead. So let's get rid of as the lead then.
Yeah.
And just put it into
Just put in
here.
this question though. Oh, put it there. I see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so that actually looks really good now. Can you read out just that bit of the answer?
To get the most out of rational extroverts as their lead, have them work on projects that require efficient decisions, use their ability to make these decisions to work on projects that have short deadlines, give them facts and figures as they start a project, and be receptive of their questions as they develop the solution.
I think the first bullet point is the best one, so why not put that first? Do you get what I'm saying?
Wait, you said the first bullet point is
the last bullet point is the best one. Like, it's the most concrete.
Okay, yeah. So I'll switch that right now.
Kristen?
Yeah, Emily, you said the first one, and I was like, I think
I can't speak. I had some Xanax earlier. That's the only reason I didn't have a panic attack during Automata.
Oh,
So
what I was doing here.
I'm just trying to just tab in. There you go.
Okay, so this last one.
Delete the second one.
Right?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay. Though rational introverts work style, ask for suggestions and base decisions on facts. I think that should be an and options. Judgment based on if someone looks busy. What?
Asks, do you mean like I know what I didn't notice in the first one, so I guess it was fine. You need to kind of decide between present and I think it needs to be in work style too. It needs in rational extroverts too. It needs to be tells and bases.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's fix that up there too. I didn't realize it before because I wasn't paying close enough attention apparently. Because like when you're giving it, you're saying rational extroverts. So let's keep it consistent with that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm changing this. Can we just say basis judgment?
Yeah.
And I'll change that up here too.
Yeah.
So instead it becomes, instead of make judgment based on results, becoming bases judgment on results.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, Brett, your content is amazing. We're fixing the grammar, and I just want to make that very clear, clear with
No,
you.
I'm terrible at grammar. I want all the suggestions you guys can give me.
All right. So I think that work style is good now.
Okay. Okay, to get the most out of rational.
How about instead of under work style, though, for rational introverts,
Yeah.
Prefers to have all information before making a decision? Because you can't always make a decision with all information because you don't always have all the information.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
How about prefers as much information as possible before making a decision?
Okay. Are you about to type that or should I?
You type that. I kind of want to make sure you're okay with, like, do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
walk over you because you're kind of passive and I feel bad about it. So I'm trying really hard here not to type for you unless it's something like changing plurals.
Like something like that?
For the maximum, Kristen, what do you think?
I don't know if I like maximum.
As much information as possible.
Yeah, you just say prefers a lot of information.
Before making a decision instead of to make a decision. Does that make more sense, Kristen? Brett?
Yeah, definitely.
Wait, change it
Prefers
the way you see it, Emily.
Prefers a lot of information before making a decision. Actually, maximum in that case makes sense.
Prefers a lot of. Oh, yeah.
And instead of a lot of them, we actually can use. That good?
Should it be maximum available information or?
Yeah. Yeah, that looks good.
All right, so let's just bulletify this one.
Okay.
How about just give them as much information as possible for that first bullet?
And get rid of like the second half of that sentence.
As much information of all of the information about a project. Yeah, that works.
About a project, that doesn't sound great. Give them all. For their project.
How about for their project?
The project. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
I
the
guess
second half of this isn't really. Well, do you think like that's bad? That second bullet now?
Have them work
Yeah,
on
it's like
projects.
redundant.
Maybe just initial like that.
What justifies having them work on their projects alone initially?
They're introverts.
Yeah, there's something in the slides that said they like to work alone.
Then add that to the work style. Prefer to work alone.
Add that they prefer. Well,
If it says that in the slides, then and you're using it to base off to how to get the most off of them, then yeah.
Okay. I don't know how accurate it is to like say that though. Versus work alone. Like I don't have the slides up right now.
Okay, so then don't add it, and then get rid of that second bullet
Okay.
under. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think part of it is like we're working as a team. It's stupid to say like have them work alone. Okay.
And move the first half of that. Rational inference tend to judge others based on whether they look busy. Into the work style, and then
Well, that's there already.
pair them with similar people. Like, okay. So then remove it from here. Like, do you get?
Yeah.
Make sure to pair them with people instead of not that are busybodies, but with similar work styles.
Okay.
Because busybodies is kind of an insult. And
Yeah.
that's not kind of the tone we're looking for here. You okay, Kristen?
Yeah, I'm good.
I feel like I'm taking over, so if you want to work on the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? That bullet now, this highlighted one.
With others who have. Because you can't pair work styles, you pair people.
Yeah. That better, and get rid of this one.
Yeah.
Seems good.
You can actually probably get rid of make sure too, so it's just pair them with others who have similar work styles.
Okay, yeah.
Woo, that's beautiful. All right,
sweet.
Kristen, your turn for intuitive extroverts. I'm gonna use the bathroom, okay?
Okay. I changed the first three to be in like present voice, but the fourth
Yeah.
one I can't figure out how to do it for that one.
Okay.
Do we say like get they?
What if I say like I think I like motivate is the wrong word of like this is work style, so prefers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we say like when working though?
Or should it be like enjoys interactions and discussions with others?
Yeah, I like enjoys.
So that seems all right. The other one seem all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's okay. So let's say have them work and frequently meet. Let's make this another bullet point. Allow them the freedom to meet whenever they feel necessary. Have them pair programs so they can constantly bounce ideas off of each other. Oh, you can put parentheses around this and it'll be like a cute little side note. And then there should be a new bullet. Make or just to take advantage of their creativity and have them work on new ideas and stylistic components. Good?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, next one. Okay, so change these to present. Faces has a desire to be like. Yes. I don't know how to change this one. You want to try the third bullet
Okay.
or the fourth one? Taste. Oh, we could just say is sensitive.
Okay, yeah.
And then are good listeners.
Yeah.
Let's say project members turn. Yeah. I think that's good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. So instead of is sensitive, are sensitive.
Okay.
We're trying to keep it consistent with plural.
Yeah. Okay, I think that first part is good now.
Yeah.
Okay, so then to get the most out of them as their lead. So you can, instead of saying need, you could say give them as much info as possible.
Yeah.
Do you want to type it or do you want me to? You got it? Okay. Give them as much info as possible to make decisions. So make sure to give them all you have. I feel like that's just redundant, that second part of the sentence.
Agreed.
Then say leverage their desire instead of may.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then the next one you could say involve them in interactions with clients because they're good listeners.
Okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Actions.
Yeah, and then the rest of it's all redundant.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, I like it.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right, you want to read that out loud, this next paragraph?
Yeah.
So what's this next paragraph answering?
This is to the first sentence, like promote harmonious interactions. Like,
The first question, you mean?
yeah, that's what it's like. The second half of the first question is like, how do you promote harmonious interactions?
Then the question already implies that's important, so you don't need to say that it's important. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. So this is just repetitive, you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, but you don't.
So why don't we actually make this bullets like the rest so it matches? Because it's kind of weird to go from bullets to not
I
bullets.
agree.
Okay.
So promoting harmonious interactions.
Okay.
Um,
I guess this should be bolded, right?
it doesn't have to be because your first headings aren't bolded. Only your second level headings are bolded.
Okay. Okay, so this is garbage then.
So yeah, that first sentence is trash.
Okay. So would it just be like, if we're doing this, like,
That's the first
be
bullet.
aware? Okay. Each interaction that requires a result should be handled appropriately based on personality type. So,
You could just say handle interactions based on personality type.
okay. Handle
Actions appropriately based on personality type. And then as a sub bullet, you could talk about do they require more or less direction, information, freedom, time to think.
So handle interactions based on personality types.
And that one, and then do they require, and then have sub bullets for each of those. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, like,
Oh, but it looks like your tabs didn't go through light. So let me just try and do that right. Here we go. So let me fix the formatting and you work on getting the rest of it
okay.
into.
Wait, what are you doing for?
More or less direction, information.
Okay.
Freedom, all
Is it silly to have like more or less several times?
How about more or less direction? Do they get overwhelmed? No, I think actually.
No, I think that's good.
Yeah, okay.
I think that doesn't mean more or less, right?
Yeah, time to think.
Yeah.
To be creative. Okay.
Okay. And then you can say, like this, you can also, if you want, you can put this as a sub bullet for like the ones who need information.
Those who deserve more. Wait, say that one more time, Kristen.
Like, never mind. Hold on. Like I was saying, like you can do this, like under the more or less information, you can like say distribute information prior to meetings, for those who require it, and then, but like I think that's the only example you have, so that might not be a good idea.
Well, would it be good to have like
Yeah, I think that's fine.
should I say like distribute information prior to meetings? Like, is it necessary to say like to cater to different work styles?
Who are the ones that actually need it? Is that the rational people?
Yeah.
So you can say for rational individuals.
Well, I think like each type likes different amounts of information distributed differently.
Oh, okay.
So I would like if you have a group of all different work styles, you want to have like an overview as well as like really detailed information there.
Okay.
So like
Yeah. Then I think what you have is fine.
just this one line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about for those who want it? Yeah.
Or should it be
Yeah.
something like distribute should I also have like distribute information like distribute meeting agenda and information prior to meetings?
I think
Sure.
what we have here right now, distribute information prior to meetings for those who want it.
Okay. All right, that's good with me.
Because you don't have to read it. It's just available if you do.
Yeah, it's
If you get
available.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can get rid of this, right?
Yeah.
Those who should also be like
During meetings.
yeah. During meetings.
Actually, since we've got multiple things on meetings here, why don't we do a subheading for meetings and then
Okay. How do you do this? How do you do this? I don't know how
Give
to
me a
like, get
second.
it indented correctly.
I'll do it. Give me a second.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
You got it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this could just be
Like
what would you want? Like allow open discussion or
yeah. Like give time for open discussion. How would you word that?
Give time for open discussion of each agenda topic.
That seem good?
yeah.
Okay.
I think another good point would I haven't read as much of the documentation, but I do remember is that make sure people have takeaways from the meeting. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I know like when I was at meetings at IBM, it was like, what, after being in a meeting for half an hour, sometimes like, what am I supposed to do now?
So like provide takeaways.
Yeah. Provide a list of action items after each meeting. And you could probably cite the textbook on Agile for that because that's actually in their guidelines for meetings.
Okay.
Mm.
So that seems good, right? And then we don't
Yeah.
need this outline stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to
That's just repeating something you said earlier. So I think that's good.
Okay. So this was like from the slides that I just copy and pasted originally. Should I just get rid of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Okay. Seems good for that part.
Yeah. And Do we want to bulletify the B? Because I think that's fine because it's in like semi-bullet style.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's just read for content.
Okay, rational extrovert as boss. Should that be different or that's fine?
How about as their as your boss?
As your
just to make
boss.
that clear.
Okay.
So I'll add that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't understand that.
Okay. So rational extrovert as your boss. Okay. You want to communicate with facts and figures, leaving emotions out of it. Ask lots of questions to allow them to tell you what they want or expect from you. Expect your boss to give deadlines and timeframes. So when given status updates, include expected completion of future tasks. So when given.
Perfect. Let's just make that a second bullet. Actually, I'm a terrible person.
That's
fine. Fix it.
Seems good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Rational introvert as your boss. You want to communicate with facts and figures, as well as give a detailed report of what you have accomplished. You know your boss likes to see that people are busy, so be sure to show them the progress you are making on your current task. If you encounter a problem, tell your boss why you have not made progress, as well as when you expect it will be finished.
Just get rid of your boss likes to people are busy, so let's just do this.
Okay.
So like this, show them progress you're making your current task. If you encounter a problem, tell your boss why you haven't made progress as well as when you expect it to be finished.
I feel like having that was kind of important though, because it like reminds the people why we want them.
Okay, so let's. How about instead of instead of your boss likes to see.
You know what I mean?
Should it be like, be aware that your boss likes to see?
I think just your boss likes to see. So
Okay.
I think that's good.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, that one's good.
Okay, intuitive extroverts as your boss. You want to make sure to have regular interactions with this boss. All right, that kind of sounds funny.
It's different. How about with your boss?
Yeah.
Just to keep it consistent with the other answers.
Yeah. Regular interactions with.
How about instead of it is recommended to, just remove that. Leverage their experience.
Okay. Leverage their experience by meeting with them about your ideas to make progress on your current project. So could that just be its own bullet?
No, I think it's good with that one because you're talking about the regular interactions.
Okay. Intuitive extroverts enjoy working with others, so invite them to collaborate as you develop a solution or make a decision. If things fall behind, you can expect to get a new update on when your boss expects a result, but also remain open to their suggestions and guidance to get the project back on track.
I don't get what you're trying to say here.
Which part? Can you highlight it? The whole second half?
The whole second half. You could expect.
Wait, say that one more time?
Like, what is, like, this part is confusing to me.
If things fall behind. So, like,
Wait, so is this 3 bullets here? Are these 3 separate points? Does this make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Are you saying a new deadline?
Yeah.
The one I highlighted?
A new, yeah, that should be deadline.
Yeah, and you don't have to say when your boss expects a result because that'll be repetitive.
Yeah. I also moved things into the plural for the second bullet. So instead of as you develop a solution or make a decision, or as you develop solutions or make decisions.
Nice.
The third bullet just still doesn't make sense. Like, what are you trying to say there, Brett?
So, like,
he doesn't need this anymore.
Yeah, like if you're working.
Wait, yeah. What is the last one?
Wait, say that again.
It seems like you're kind of like contradicting yourself. Like, why are you saying? Why are you saying but?
How about instead of but?
The right word. It should be like.
And.
Should it just be 2 different sentences?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think you can get rid of the on when your boss expects a result because that's just what a deadline is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just say remain open to their suggestions.
Yeah.
But
I
this
like that.
section as a whole, by the way, Brett, is much better than the previous one, so good job.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a couple sentences that needed to be.
So is the last
Okay.
one good, or what do you guys think for the interior?
I think you did something. Read the beginning of the sentence. What does that mean?
The help they provide.
Wait, let me read that.
Brett, is English your native language?
I don't think so.
Rose.
Rose is gonna what? Poor Rose is
Podcast,
watching
and
this video. It's just gonna be 2 hours of us fixing each other's grammar. Like you realize that, right? This video is going to be 2 hours of us fixing each other's terrible grammar and spelling.
Oh, this is supposed to be the.
The hell? Oh, I see. Them help. Okay, I think that one's good then.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Actually, the writing here is really kind of fun, so I kind of like that.
All right, nice. All right, so
Okay,
we'll move on to
on
part
to
C. Okay, what strategy, course of action, process model, etc., do you think would ensure the production of quality software that is safe and reliable?
This section is suited to paragraphs, so good choice to use
Yeah.
them here.
Yeah. So I didn't want to like get into too in depth because I feel like you could literally talk about this for days. But anyways, I'll start reading.
Actually, you might want to save at the beginning. I did that too.
Say what?
Whole books have been written on this topic, so as a short summary.
Okay. Like, isn't our textbook kind of based on this?
In some ways, yeah. I mean, I think it has a full chapter developed devoted to this.
Entire books have
been written on this subject.
Wait, finish that sentence in the way you're like.
Entire books have addressed this subject, so this is just a brief summary of some important points.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So entire books have addressed this subject. So this is just a brief summary of some important points. There's no way to ensure the production of quality software that is safe and reliable all the time. If there was, then everybody would be using it and we would not have these major software failures. This does not mean that there aren't ways to develop the best strategy to see the project up to, this does not mean that there aren't ways to develop the best strategy to set the project up to deliver quality software that is safe and reliable. Each project will require a different strategy based on what the project will be used for, who will be using it, and the project requirements and specifications, etc.
That's a good place to put a new paragraph. And get rid of etc.
Okay.
And then, so let's do that paragraph.
Okay.
So this sentence is kind of messed up. So instead of there are ways to develop the best strategies, and then say you're kind of using a negative here that's making it more confusing than it needs to be.
Okay.
But I see why you're doing the negative because it's good writing. So how about
there are still good ways to set up the project?
However, there are still good ways to set up a project in order to develop the highest quality, to develop software that is safe and reliable.
Over there are.
You need a comma after however.
Okay, yeah.
I fixed that already.
There are strategies.
There or ways you can say. It doesn't matter, I don't think.
Yeah.
But however, there are ways to
set the project up to develop deliver quality software that is safe and reliable. Just to maintain as much of your sentence as possible, because it's your writing, not mine.
Hold on. Does this sentence make more sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
much. And then so let's delete the previous one and we're good.
Okay.
And how about instead of the project though, a project?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait to set up a project. Wait, set. Okay, set a project up to deliver. Okay. That looks good.
Yep.
Okay, so that paragraph's good.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll read this one on. For projects that may evolve throughout development, following a more flexible process model, such as Agile, will ensure the project can react and adjust to changing requirements to deliver quality software. The plan and document process model would produce a higher quality product for rigid projects that have more concrete requirements. It is important that the project development team also understands the impact it will have on society to determine what strategy they should follow. So,
What do you mean? This sentence, what are you talking about? What will have the impact? What will have on society? I'm not sure what it is referring to.
the final
Their process
product,
model?
like the project, I guess the
final product. Okay.
final product, good.
Yeah.
I like your parentheses. Like how many people could be killed.
Yeah, like, I wasn't sure if I should include that.
I'm tempted to leave it just because it's hilarious. Because you go from the super serious. It reminds me of I was doing a presentation on mental health and education, and at the end we had a bunch of slides with a giant poop fountain, because by the time we had finished writing the presentation, we were all horribly depressed.
Oh my god.
So we had a slide of people doing diarrhea.
Oh god. So do you guys, like, I just added that, like, maybe I should add something about, like, a project can kill people or whatever. It could be
Yeah.
You can just say like some projects
In a sentence,
like
software development failures can result in deaths.
yeah. And you could just say comma like the Therac. Yeah, I think that's good.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe say like some software development failures even have the potential. Because it's not like every software.
Yeah. If we fuck up college daily, no one's going to die.
Yeah.
As much as Rose might like us to think that if we fuck it up, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
So watch if she listens to that and I get like an email scolding like 3 weeks after finals. Also, did you guys like the 5 emails we got to fill out so it's at the last minute?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That was so funny.
All right, so this paragraph seems all right now.
Yep, we're good.
Okay. So, would following a code of ethics be enough of an assurance? Do you guys think I should keep, like, these things here, or, like, the question in my answer, or
I mean, that's a personal preference, I think.
If you can just put a topic sentences that makes it clear what sentence you're answering, then no. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
so
It's
like
better.
yeah. So see how I have here, like the code of ethics.
How about instead of "but our code of ethics a help" and then go into your thing.
Wait, say that one more time.
So let me just write it.
Okay.
Like that. And then you can delete it.
Oh, and then get rid of this. Yeah. Okay. Like that. Okay. So should I start reading?
How about sufficient as? And that kind of echoes the spirit of the question a little bit better, I think. There we go.
As sufficient as. Okay. Okay, so I'll start reading it. Oh, hold on. Are the code of ethics as sufficient?
Sufficient as, I'm sorry. There you go. Are the code of ethics sufficient as a way to prevent these failures?
Wait. Are the code of ethics sufficient as a way to? Okay, that makes sense to me now. Okay. Are the code of ethics sufficient as a way?
Actually, can we get rid of the there?
Where? Here?
Yeah, I don't like the word "the." It's really throwing me off. I was gonna say that for the next sentence too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we both did it. We both made that.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Two people can drive a car at the same time, Kristen.
Yeah.
We just crashed the car.
Okay, so I said the code a lot. Okay, anyways. So are codes of ethics sufficient as a way to prevent these failures? Codes of ethics gives an outline on how developers should carry out their work.
And you don't need to say code of ethics for a third time.
Yeah.
And you could just say this.
Yeah.
Okay.
You must have had fun in CS 301.
All right. So this provides an
Oh,
understanding.
you didn't take it, right? Lucky you.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have to. This provides an understanding of what is a good moral compass to follow when making decisions or choosing a course of action. An issue with code of ethics is that not everyone will agree and follow them or even read them.
Add a however there.
Yeah, and should we say an issue with codes of ethics, not code?
Yeah.
I already changed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's good.
With
You agree with that, Brett?
Yeah, I am. I think these are all really good suggestions. Not everyone will agree and follow them or even read them. Okay.
And also, like, point out there's no enforcement mechanism. Like, as
Oh,
computer,
true.
because
Yeah, that's
science
what I
teachers-
said.
because
Right here, there's
developers aren't licensed,
yeah.
there's no way to force people to follow them.
The code of ethics, right?
Yeah.
So do you see this?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this good?
Yeah. But there's no way to ensure that everyone is following them. And yeah, that's good.
Is that good?
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
This paragraph is now perfect.
Okay,
at least
so we
God,
need.
you have more? Your question was long.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote. Yeah, I wrote like.
Kristen, your answer is long as well.
I know.
I think, is mine the shortest? That's fucking ridiculous that mine's the shortest.
I swear Brett's is most definitely. Mine wasn't even 2 pages. Or no.
The thing that is also like a lot of bullets that are taking up space, so that helps. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's keep going because we have to submit this paper so soon and nobody's online.
Okay, so I think this sentence here is a good transition, right? I can get rid of this.
Mhm.
Okay.